Hi there, it's me, Gordo, the guy who's still running his team. Somehow. First, Happy New Year. Let's hope that 2021 is a hell of a lot better for us than 2020 was. Before we start, I want to apologize to the events team on how long it's taken us to start on this episode. Really, this might be. Took us a bit. Been asking me since like episode 5. Sorry, Micro. Also want to apologize to you, yes, you viewer, because Pun recorded this episode in 720p. Yay! Anyways, we got 2 big things planned for you guys this month, and it involves people bigger than Jimmy. Don't ask how we managed it. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and thank you for watching. Gordo out.
Hello, and welcome back to the Fear and Terror podcast. I am your host for this episode 17. My name is No Pun Intended, and today I am joined by 2 members of the squad events team. Those 2 members are Floppy Waffle
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
and Micro.
Hey, I got a boring follow-up.
Okay. So Micro here, he is the current manager, and he's been the manager for a while of the team. And Floppy, remind me again, what are you for the team? Are you just an admin or assistant manager?
I'm just admin right now. I help onboard a lot of the new people that come in and get them situated on kind of how things flow. But other than that, just kind of idea bank.
Okay. So my first line of questioning for you, Micro. Oh god, I'm making this sound like you're getting interrogated. Like, what did you do? But first question is, what made you want to take over the team, and when did you take over the events team?
Well, taking over the events team was never something that was in my mind. I had joined the events team when Clutch was the manager, and him and I had planned an event for about a month, and then it never happened. And then one day he just told me I was the new manager. That's exactly how that came about. So that was back last April now it would have been. So I've been the squad events manager since then, basically because there was nobody else to be it.
So a solid 8 months now.
Yeah.
So I do remember before with the events there, when you were just like an admin on the team or assistant manager, whichever you were. What were you before you were manager? Were you the assistant manager?
No, I was just a regular, I believe just a regular admin for the events team. There weren't too many of us at all. I believe there was 3 or 4.
Okay. Well, I do remember that back that 8-10 months ago, way back then, that the events, they seemed to have not as good of a turnout, and a lot of people seemed uninterested in the events. And Floppy just had something go ding.
Sorry.
But well, somebody's yelling at him now.
Oh,
Okay.
God. Everything has to go right at the right time.
So back to it. When you took over, how did you go about boosting how many people turn out to events? Because I've noticed that we've had a lot of events that we would get a full server of people from all over the community to come join. So how did you manage to pull that off, going from barely getting our people to join it to getting other people from other communities to come and join our events?
Well, it started off, it seemed like there was a lot of, not to like hash on anybody that was in the team prior, but it seemed like there was kind of a lack of creativity. A lot of the events were based around a mod. For example, one of the events that was planned way back when was the Thunderdome event. And the only thing that we had to do was just install the mod for the Thunderdome mod, and it just ran itself. So it wasn't very well planned through, and it seemed like a lot of people just weren't interested. So I guess we went from there to trying to make it fun. just small fun events. A lot of those, honestly, the turnout didn't go too well until we finally figured out that people like the tactical side of squad. Of course, that's why they play. But I will have to say that we did have one event that was a fun one, Life on Two Wheels. That event boosted like our event community drastically after that event. I'm pretty sure
I
both of you were there for it.
Yes, I
Oh,
do
yeah.
remember that event. I was in first place in the first race until I got shot, and then shot again, and
Oof.
again,
And oof.
and again.
Yeah.
I didn't even hit
I
the
remember
mines
having a
to.
call to ceasefire.
I didn't even hit the mines to lose my first place.
Oh, I
That
got
was
so
done
many.
by bullets.
Yeah, I think I ended that event with 53 kills. That was really good.
Yeah, I had never planted so many C4s and mines on that game.
I mean, it was a
Um,
fun event. Like, we should do it again sometime because that was a blast. I had a fantastic time.
I
Literally a
actually
blast.
just approved an idea
that's
the other day.
that's why they call
Um,
me no pun intended.
Hey.
I missed it.
Uh,
I said that was a blast.
So good. Floppy, was it you that was bringing up the idea recently of hosting a Life on Wheels 2?
yeah, so it's been kind of one of those. I really want to do it again because a lot of people didn't really understand what was going on about the event. We tried to make a little trailer for it, and we might be able to throw it in at the end. But it it seemed pretty simple as a concept, but it was so much more difficult and more fun than I thought it would even be. So basically, it's just a track, right, through whatever map we do, and then there's a team putting down mines, right? You think, oh, a mine or two here and there is not going to be a problem. Well, we found a way to let you put down a lot of mines. So it became more and more fun as I think as we progressed through the play. So yes, we are hoping to put this one out. I don't know, fairly soon. We'll see what 2021 has to hold. But yeah, I really want to run it again. I think it was a very successful event.
Probably one of my favorites by far. I laughed through the entire event. I
Oh yeah,
almost couldn't hear anyone on Discord.
oh yeah. It was a great time overall, especially when people that were getting lapped would just wait at a mine for somebody to pass them and then run over the mine to blow them both up.
Yes. There's a lot of strategy involved, a lot of gameplay that really had to. No, it was hilarious. And then we started throwing smokes, and I think that was great because people coming around a blind corner and either get thrown off the track or blown up. It was pretty good.
Yeah, and that event was a big test for us because it originally came around because we were trying to figure out times. Because as we've been setting up our events, we try to optimize them throughout the years we've gone. So one of the things that we wanted to test is we wanted to cut down on idle time at the beginning. We didn't want to have players sit at the main base for 5 or 10 minutes while the admin set stuff up. So we thought, could we have a game actually go on while the admins are setting things up? And that's kind of how Life on Two Wheels came about, is because it's like, yeah, we can lay mines, set up a racetrack. It just snowballed from there.
Yeah, me and Empty kind of really worked together on that one and got it pretty well polished. I think it turned out really good. I think the next one, I think it'll be good too. I still double checking on a good map, but you'll see a good one come through.
So I guess continuing on the question for like how our events have gotten to where we are. The last thing I want to say about that is I attribute it a lot to just trial running everything, and also to one of our members, Jet. He helped me pull off an event a while ago that was it was a convoy ambush event, and it was an incredible event. The convoy had to make its way through the map while the militia had to try and stop it. And
Fool's
we had
Road.
cinematics set up. We had C4s planted at roads that went off at specific times, and it was just all around every part about the event. Everybody enjoyed it, every part of it. And yeah, so we slowly have just evolved up to where we are now.
Yeah, I do remember that event. It was on Fool's Road, right? And
Yeah, it was. We wanted it
you
to
had
be
to
hell
take
for the drivers.
yeah, you had to take from one point. I think normally like whatever main depends on the layer, but whichever main is in the bottom right, had to go and then through the middle of the map all the way to train yard on the bottom
Yeah.
left. But you couldn't just zip right to it because there was blockades and shit.
Yeah, it was a very well planned out event.
Oh yeah, I definitely had fun there because I was shooting a 30 mic. Or actually, I might have been shooting the BMP. Actually, it was a fun time though.
Yeah, we found that the tactical events work better.
Mm-hmm. So that kind of leads me into my next question. With you said you both liked the Life on Two Wheels event. Would you guys consider that to be your favorite event, or if not, what is your favorite event
Oh, yeah,
that you've done?
floppy. I would have to say my favorite would be Operation Blackout.
Yeah, honestly, that's probably, I'd say my top two are those two: Operation Blackout and also Life on Two Wheels. For two different reasons too. Like they're
Oh yeah,
neck and neck. I mean, the tactical aspect that we did on Operation Blackout was just it was great. I had so much fun trying to figure out the tactics and trying to get through it, and it was ever evolving during the whole match. It was great. And then Life on Two Wheels was just it was a good time. It was laughing. It was everyone just embracing it. It was great. But yeah, I think those two are top.
yeah. And for the people who don't know, would one of you two mind explaining what Operation Blackout was? I believe we held that event twice. We held like basically Operation Blackout twice on like a couple
Yeah,
weeks apart from each other.
we did a encore for it. Micro, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, it's the event. It was incredible. We had such a big turnout when the event first ran. I remember at admitting for both of the servers that we had going. We had too big of a turnout because at the time the servers were only a maximum of what was it, 80 people, correct? So we had to run two separate servers because we had well over, I think it was close to 111 people when I had did my count. So we ended up doing an encore of it, of course, because there were so many other people that wanted to play in it but didn't get a chance. That was basically a big joint project between the squad events team and Jet with the squad mod team. He basically created the layer. He created the spawns. I'd have to say he pretty much created most of the aesthetic part of it, modded so much for us. And then with the events team, we were able to go in and kind of set it up so it flowed so well from the beginning to the end that we were able to switch it and have a round two as well. We did have our bumps here and there, but I think we smoothed them out for the most part for the second run of it.
Yeah, definitely. I think that tactics wise, we tried different tactics throughout going into that operation, and man, it was nuts. Like both times, two different tactics. Everything broke again. You know, as in this is what's supposed to happen. This is how we're going in, and then it's just scramble, but tactically scramble. You know what I mean? Trying to push in and we tried a tactic of saying throwing bodies down the corridors, and that did not work, but it worked on the second time. So it's just different group. Everyone, I think, had a lot of fun on that one, though.
Oh yeah,
And
definitely.
I guess I am leaving out just like I'll list off pretty much the important factors of it. Few things that we showcased on it was we had repelling from the helicopters. Now, for the helicopters, we had it so that there were 4 helicopters that would leave from the main. One of them would be a fast throw propelling helicopter, and then the other 3 were transports that would land in their designated spots. We did actually do tryouts for all the pilots for the event to ensure that, because you had to get in by helicopter, we wanted to ensure players could get there to play. We also showcased the night vision, silenced weapons, laser pointers on guns, flares. So it was it was all around. It was a great event. It's so much that we had never seen on Squad before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember I was helping test out the mod before the event happened, and it was just mind blowing how, because the mod was created in a very short amount of time, by one person at that. But I was just mind blown by how much he was able to achieve in that amount of time and just completely transformed the game.
It honestly, it almost felt like a different game. People play Proscriptum or the new one,
Beyond the Wire.
Beyond the Wire. Yeah, it kind of had this weird feel like Night Ops. What? This is a different game, but you start pushing that point, and all of a sudden you see the CAS heli come in and do a fire run on those rockets, and it just everything's shaking. You're just hoping you don't get hit. Like just whole nother level of gameplay that I hope to see actually later in Squad as it progresses, because it's so
Sorry,
good.
go ahead.
Oh, it's just so good.
I believe Jet got banned while he was doing the
He did.
airstrikes
He got
because
auto banned.
yeah. So that was
right.
the event that we learned we had to give each of our Squad events admins super admin, because it's like, oh no,
Oh
we can't
god.
have this problem again.
I do remember in both events, because the button for toggling the night vision was P, and Shift P puts you into admin cam.
That's
And
right.
I'd go to toggle my night vision while I was sprinting, and all of a sudden I'd be in admin cam. I'd be like, "What the fuck?" And so then I'd quickly have to jump out of admin cam. I would do it. I did it like 5 or 10 times each round.
I swear Jet did that just to troll people because he knew that was gonna happen. But
Well,
no, it
the
was
first the first time I did it, I was in Murder Fist Squad, and he was yelling. He's like, "Who the fuck just went into admin cam? Pun, why the fuck did you just go into admin cam? What the hell are you doing?" I was like, "I was just sprinting and went to turn off my nods. I'm sorry." He's like, "Oh, that makes sense. Don't fucking do it again."
yeah, nah. It's gets intense when you say a flare comes over the edge and just blinds you in those nods. Oh my goodness. It was just I think there was a lot of good balancing thrown between the sides. I mean, it's a new faction, right? People don't necessarily know the best way to play them yet, but
Mhm.
I think given enough time, I think it was pretty well balanced.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I
the
don't.
Rangers.
Yeah, I don't know if you mentioned that in the mod, he also added an entire new faction with a
Yeah,
bunch of kits and new weapons and such. Like it wasn't just all that other shit. No, he added a new faction too.
new faction. There was a breacher class, so there's a new class running in with a shotgun.
Oh,
Just
that
stealth
class was
ops
so
and
fun.
oh
That was
yeah,
The
so fun
pilots, yeah, with
with the
their silenced
MP5s.
MP5s, they
oh yes,
loved it.
it was good. It was really. I mean, there were just kudos to Jet and his talent there. That was such a
Uh-huh.
good mod, and hopefully we've been working on some things. I wonder if we can maybe pull some others, but hopefully maybe do some more of that same mod, just in different areas would be cool. But we can only do so much in so little time, so
Yeah.
um, definitely
Uh,
great great to play with.
Oh yeah, I didn't hear anything bad about the mod or
No.
the event from anybody. Everybody that I heard saying anything about it said that it was a great time.
The majority of the
Uh,
people that I talked to or wanted to give their feedback was, when are you running it again?
Yep.
Yeah, I
Uh,
remember we managed to get Moy Dog in for that event as well, and he loved it.
um, wasn't was Squitters there for one of them?
I believe he was there for the rerun of it, or he
Yeah, I
may
think
have
it
been
was.
there for the first, but I know that he was there for one of them for sure.
I think Squitters and Cornhole Patrol were there at the same event, whichever one
Yeah,
they went to.
Yeah, it
And
had
so
a big turnout. Like I've always thought like kudos to Jet on that. It was, I mean, we didn't really do too much as the events team on that one. I'll be honest with you. Like we arranged the people to be in there to play comfortably, but
oh yeah.
Mhm.
that was all Jet.
Yeah, I
Now,
mean, even on the embassy assault that we did, the 13 hours event, which was a similar type event. Uh, the Rangers were defending against insurgents coming into the embassy that's on Fallujah. Even at that, Jet modded everything to the point where we just had to come in, do our little spiel, give a story, give a meaning for why we're here, and just play. And so he's done a great job in aiding the events team in the last few months.
yeah, oh yeah, now for the Operation Blackout event, there was a trailer created for that, right?
Yes, there
There
was.
was.
Let's see. Pun. I believe it was J Dub, Puppet Dragon, and Burnt My Soup. The marketing team had put together that video. It might have been mainly Puppet Dragon. I'm not entirely sure on that one, but phenomenal video. I think we should totally show that to everybody. It was just beautiful work.
Oh yeah, there
It,
all of the trailers that have been made for the events have all just been phenomenal trailers. Just aesthetically pleasing, good editing, just everything about them was fantastic. Um, we'll try and while we're talking about the events, I don't know who's editing this, but maybe they can throw in the trailers before we talk about each event that we talk about, if we can get them those files, because these are just phenomenal trailers, or even just snippets of them, because uh, it was really good work, and it'll give you a bit of a feel for what the event actually was.
Oh yeah.
Micro, were you gonna say something?
uh, I do not believe I may have, but I can't remember.
I think you were, and I just completely bulldozed you down and kept going.
Oh, it was just in respect to that trailer. I remember we had so many different members assisting on that, and yeah, there was so
Mhm.
much time put into recording it, and yeah, that wasn't even just necessarily like the events team or the marketing team. We had so many people from Fear and Terror come in, and they were choreographed scenes. If they weren't done correctly, they were redone and redone, made sure that everything was done at specific camera angles. The soundtrack was custom made as well.
Oh yeah, I remember. I was there. I was helping record one of the trailers, and we sat there recording stuff for a solid at least 2 hours, just recording different scenes, going here, going there, just to try and get the perfect shots.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's surprising how much work that goes into some of these background things that you don't think, oh well, it's going to be a cool video. You know it's going to be a cool video. You're doing it right now, right? But just to see it come fold and come through just with such great editing and work and then seeing what it does to the event. Um, that event, like Micro said, we had to do 2 different servers on an event. That was crazy nuts. That means we need 2 commanders. That means we need 2 uh, other commanders on the other side, So there's 4 commanders. Well, that's a lot of team members, right? And then
Mhm.
you need floating admins. You need people to, actually make sure managing people and the Discord. So a lot ends up going into these events that it's just all background. But
And
it,
then 2 sets of heli pilots was probably a tough one.
Definitely. I mean, to get people confident, they're flying little birds. It's completely different than the Blackhawks. They float a little different, right? So people got to go practice and make sure we're not just going to fly right into a wall or a tree. So getting that
Yeah, the
talent down and
tryouts.
yeah, that was a big event, and I hope we do more like that. Just big style, throw out a good video, get a good idea together, and just watch people come and play and have fun.
Yeah. So I have unfortunately exhausted my knowledge of which events you guys have done. All of the events that I have gone to have been talked about. Um, so I'm just gonna let you guys, if there's another event you guys want to talk about, go ahead.
Oh, definitely, there's tons of events.
Yeah, just
Um,
pick one
I
and go.
Floppy, I think we have to touch on one. We have to talk about it. We have to talk about why we haven't run it. But first off,
oh,
I will start off by saying
uh,
one thing is that just recently we have lost our assistant manager, Stewie, your pal Stewie. He did crazy good work for the events team. He
mhm,
took on a big workload as well. So right now we're just I believe we're close to 8 or 9 members right now. Um, and I'm just trying to get everybody on board. And to be honest, I'm not going to talk about it very much. But with the whole Cyberpunk release, it put a little bit of a slow on our signups, it seems. So we're hoping to kick off the new year pretty soon. With one specific event is Black Hawk Down.
I was gonna ask about that near the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
That was gonna be my last question. Was the Black Hawk Down event?
oh, we can
But
hold it off a little longer
Yeah,
if you
let's hold
want.
it.
yeah, let's
Okay,
hold it off
I've got
because
an event.
that the Black Hawk Down event is like I've heard you guys hyping that up for a while, and I've been excited for it. That's literally what the mod was built for, was for that event.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Um,
But we'll
the
get to
event
that
that
later.
the event that I was thinking of was the Halloween event, which we had a pretty good turnout for what a non-tactical event. It still showcased, some of the same modded elements at nighttime, but we did a zombie, a free for all, so to speak. It was a death match, but I think the zombies got the most amount of kills.
Yeah, I
But
believe so.
it was a lot of fun. It was very difficult. There was a lot of fog, some lights, and cool. There's a trailer for that one. I think we should throw that one up too. It was really well done. Couple Easter eggs here and there.
Right? What was it? You
Yeah,
guys can only use pistols and knives. Then all of a sudden somebody found the hidden AK, and that didn't last long. And everybody found it.
yeah. And that you had to go do the sacrifice. You jump down a hole to get the AK and be damaged, and if you weren't careful, the zombies would take you so quick, it would start all over again. But
I'm sad I didn't go to that event. That sounds like a blast.
oh, it was great. We did it on Halloween, I believe, the night before,
I
and
Yeah.
it was good. It was a lot of fun. I think there's another fun kind of I don't know. It's not tactical. It was a fun event. Just kind of do a holiday theme, right?
Yeah, just a Halloween theme to, celebrate the holiday.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. We've had some other cool events here and there. I talked about the embassy one. That was a fun one where we had um, the insurgents. It was based off the movie 13 Hours, which was the Benghazi event. So we had a riot happen, and everyone spawned in with two magazines and tried to take the embassy as a riot. So that was a lot of fun. Um, we've done stuff where convoy events. We've done the Gulag, a lot of different
The
events that.
Gulag.
Oh yes, Micro, were you at the Gulag?
You know what? I don't believe I was at that one. I was absent for that event.
Yeah, I think I missed that one too. But it was set up similar to how Warzone has a Gulag fighting for your freedom. It was a knife event, and it was as far as I hear, it was crazy. It was a lot of fun. People just hiding behind things and stabbing each other. So
Um, huh. Yeah, no, I don't think I've heard of, or I didn't even hear that that event was happening that I know of, but
I believe it
also,
was more or less just advertised as like a knife death match. Is
got
essentially
it.
yeah,
everybody just ran at each other with knives, but it was guards versus people who were breaking out of the gulag, and it would start where you would spawn on each separate side of the island, and everybody would just basically run at each other and clash in the middle of it. That was at the time, I believe, that was an event created by Empty Head. That was a very, very fun event for some of the people who went, from what I recall. But near
Huh.
the end,
That
everybody
reminds
just smoke everywhere.
that reminds me of an event we had a long time ago, like year and a half ago, at least, maybe even 2 years ago. It was a long ass time ago, right when I first joined FAT. It was a 40 or 80 person knife fight, just anything go, like free for all knife fight, and everybody just started out in an arena and just fought to the death. And that was fun as hell because it was just 80 people viciously knifing each other, trying to be the
yeah,
last one alive.
Yeah, there are a lot of event ideas that we come across that were like, oh, that would be such a good idea. However, they are very specific ideas to the point where if we have a low turnout, for example, less than 30 people, it could completely destroy it. We've had a couple events where we've had to do really quick improvisations with it just because we ended up having a lower turnout than we expected, and it would kind of mess up the objectives, or we would get a higher turnout. So a lot of the events that we plan have to be more or less planned either to fail or to really succeed. We can't really go with a middle ground, if that makes sense. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, we've been learning a lot of different ways to plan, and plus, recently, each of our members of the events team are each coming up with their own individual events. We're going to be putting them on a schedule, and coming up in 2021, we're going to be hosting contests quarterly. So once every 3 months, I'll be hosting a contest at the community where people will send in their event ideas, and whoever's idea gets the most votes will end up getting a $25 Steam gift card, or I believe that's what we have worked out right now. So that's something that I'm looking forward to in the new year as well, to kind of get a fresh set on what the community wants for events.
Hmm.
time to make my alt account. no,
Tons of alts. Rig the
but
vote.
yeah, I'll just keep throwing out ideas. Just quantity over no, no. We definitely have a lot of people who come in and say like, "Oh, this would be cool. You guys should try doing something like this." And that would be, awesome. Let's try it. Let's sit down and talk it. But not everybody has that time to add an event. And if there's one, this might motivate people to be like, hey, I'd really like to see a tank battle. Let's do one of those. And so hey, get the community involved. Hey, win some money, do it. It'd be great.
One of the reason why I got that idea, I can't remember who it was from our community, but someone suggested to me, they're like, they don't often get to use the Canadian sniper. So they
Oh,
suggested, what about a sniper battle? So we set up a big sniper arena, essentially, where we
Right.
had the two teams of snipers, and right smack dab in the middle of the valley was the two radios hidden behind cover. So you would have to ensure that whoever was taking out the radio had full sniper cover, because otherwise you're out in the open trying to dig it down. And that was a very, very fun event as well. And I liked it because I don't think anybody in our events team really thought of anything sort of like a sniper event. And then it just came from the community and we were like, why not? And it ended up being a lot more
And
successful
yeah.
than we thought.
it was really fun, especially when the the enemy team dug down their own radio.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
Yeah, it
Like
all went to shit at the end.
I really wanted to be at that event. I helped a lot with the planning on that one, and I really wanted it to go well. And we were playtesting it for quite some time. And we have a video of that one too. We helped put that one together, and that one I wanted to be there for it, and I had just life come up, and so I couldn't attend. But I heard it was another good successful event. Like people had a lot of fun. That's what we like to hear, and we want to keep that going, right?
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, it wasn't even. I don't think it was a huge turnout for that event, but the people that were there, we all had a blast. It was
Yeah.
a great time, especially with the Timberwolf. That shit is OP.
Yes.
You just hear like 13 Timberwolves going off, It's a little scary.
Terrifying. It's like, man, where did that shot come from? Everywhere. Just duck.
Where didn't it come from at this point? How do I get away from it all? Yeah.
Shoot back.
And I don't mean to move along from that event. But I had a list of events ready. Of course, I got ready for this. I had a list of events. We're talking about everything, and I am going to bring out the diamond in the rough that nobody remembers until it's spoken about. The first successful event we ever had was, and it was literally called the Super Fob event. Now, we had a big super fob that was set up in the far east side of the map in, what was it, Albazra? And we had to have everybody set up these big fortifications. They had 10 minutes to set up their fortifications in the main city. And then they had a little radio base way on the west side that they also had to defend. So when it started off, the attacking team came in. The rule was that 10-minute mark, the attacking team was allowed to bring a tank. Now,
Oh, I
Jet
remember
just
that.
Jet sat in main in that tank for 10 minutes, antsy as hell. Now, the attacking team was getting ripped to shreds. They had AA guns set up on top of the buildings. They had stationary turrets everywhere. It couldn't get into the city. Jet rolls in, just blasted every every little bunker
Emplacement.
down that they had, and it went very well. But I'd have to say that if it wasn't for Jet and that tank, that probably would have been a failed event. But as soon as that tank came in at that 10-minute mark, you saw everybody just change
Scrambling to
instantly.
get AT
Yeah,
and like, oh fuck, I remember I was sitting on an
yeah.
AA gun on top of the fucking temple, and I looked in the distance. Got guys, that's a tank. Like, what do you mean? I mean, that's a tank.
It
And I
was
think I had
it
that
was
same
yeah,
voice crack. That's a
but it was
tank.
good. I
Oh
believe it
god,
was
yeah,
an
I
hour and a
forgot about
half long
event.
event.
I
Yeah,
forgot
and
about that.
the attacking team dug down the Super Fob radio with 48 seconds left in the event.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
so close.
yeah.
And
Good
like I
games like
said, the
that.
diamond in the rough. Nobody remembers it till you talk about it. It's like, oh, I remember when Jet rolled up with that tank.
Scared the living shit out of everyone. Because I don't remember if you told the defenders that that was gonna happen. I don't think you did. And we're just sitting there pretty like, "Ah, this is easy." And then all of a sudden,
This
guys,
is extremely hard.
that's a tank."
Right? Like one of the fun parts about squad is when you're playing the game and it just makes this big change and you've got to change exactly what you're doing on the spot, like right then and there. Like everything is all about improvisation at a certain point. And we try to add that element into our events as well. Like we give our players information on what they're going to be getting, but we always try to have at least one or two things that are going to be hidden in there that could drastically change the flow of the game. And that's kind of how we deal with these balancing issues, I suppose, is by putting in little elements in there where if they're used correctly, it could change the tide of a game. And I guess that's something you can always look out for in our events is that one little where's the fuck up come.
Yeah. Well, how is somebody gonna break it? Because gamers, they will find a way to break the game.
It's funny to say
Always.
that. It's funny to say that because you got to take that into account. We've had to struggle with this a couple times where, where's game balance, right? And is game balance, one side, predicting one side to take another, or is game balance making it fair on all sides, and then see one side just, they just don't have it today, So there's a fine line between what is balance and how you want the story to progress, right? There's always should be an element of fairness in there, but you want a storyline to progress. It makes it more, down to the wire. We're here to do something, right? And if you're beating your head against a wall and just failing, it's not as fun. But if you succeed and then you realize, oh shoot, you know, this is going to happen, or you've been failing the opposite. You've been failing for so long, and all of a sudden here comes the tank, and now we can finally get in and punish them. It just really turns the tide of a game.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, like
100%.
that's not even we haven't even mentioned really all the failures that we've had in the past either. Like we've had quite a few negative comments on some of our events, and it is constructive criticism. The amount of negative comments that we've gotten in the past have drastically helped us. I remember one of our problems at first was players getting bored at the beginning of the game, waiting for us to do all the setup and everything. And I remember getting a few comments. One in particular is always stuck. Um, Matt messaged me. He's like, "Yo, it's like I like to come to these events to support you and see what's going on, but they've been a waste of my time lately, and I don't think we're getting more." And I said to him, like, I understand. You know what? I get it. The beginning, the middle, like you get this long lull. We've had players had to wait up to like 15 minutes of just standing around before. We've had people had to leave the game because they just get bored. And um, one of the first things that we had to optimize was downtime. Like, how can we start this game so that players can immediately play the game, but we can still set up elements to it? And that was when we came up with the admins as the prisoners. We had this one where a convoy had to come in
Yes.
and uh, basically, shit, why can't I think of the word? They had to go in an evac, sorry, an encampment of friendly soldiers. Now, there was only 2 friendly officers remaining left in the camp. That was the story to it. So the 2 officers that were left in that camp we had as 2 admins. And while the game was going on, those 2 were kind of spawning things in, building up this compound using the time that they could. And then by the time that 15-minute mark hit and the convoy was at the compound, the two admins would just act like prisoners because they'd set everything up. And that was kind of our first big success in drastically dropping our downtime, was learning how to prepare our events while the events are running.
Yeah,
That's
that
a
event. Go
that's
ahead.
a very that's an interesting idea that I hadn't really thought of before. Was to optimize the downtime by utilizing admins like that.
Yeah, and it's much better when you can tie them into a storyline. Hey, we got to take them here or there, or similar to our last event, we had admins, out in a different part of the city, building up a second part of the event, right? So while the initial event is going on, everyone's focusing on that, and so you get a couple admins to sneak off and continue building the rest of the map while you're working. I think it really, just keeps the flow going because if you were to take a compound, you successfully take it, you got to do something else now, right? You don't just sit there and do nothing unless you're holding an objective, right? But I think downtime was a big hindrance on some of our events, and I think we're getting pretty good at it now. We'll have a hiccup here, there, but it shouldn't ever be that long. So, I mean, we're planning it into the event at least. You know.
Yeah, this is the information you guys are given is especially interesting to me because I'm the assistant manager of just the Fear and Terror events team, like clan wide events, not game specific. Not game specific. And you're bringing up a lot of points that I hadn't really thought of before in terms of community engagement and getting the community involved, and like optimizing downtime isn't really a huge thing for us because most of our games are just like, hey, we're going to play this, or most of our events are something like, hey, we're going to play this today, and we just load up the game and hop into a server. It's not a bunch of setup like that, but the squad events team has definitely had much more success than our team, which unfortunately after the Fear and Terror 3-year celebration coming up in January is going to be temporarily disbanded because of a lack of just a lack of attendance. And so I'm trying to learn from you guys, like what you have found that works and what doesn't in terms of getting people to actually come to events.
Honestly, like my big thing is I ask. Like there will be so many people in Fear and Terror that say like I apologize all the time. I'll message them like, yo, I'm so sorry to bother you. Like that's pretty much how most of my messages either start or end when I'm messaging people. I don't know why, it's just a Canadian thing. But
Well,
I
sorry, dear
but
bud.
I am oh what? Me?
Oh, what? No, sorry.
No, what are you doing,
Continue.
Fluffy?
Continue.
Are you
Um
gnawing on your mic?
No.
Sounds like it.
Oh no, not again. Is it gone?
Yeah.
Okay.
uh, um I do a lot of asking people. Like I'll message them and be like, you've been at our events before. I noticed you weren't at this one. Why not? Or like, hey, what went wrong in this event? And I'm very straightforward with people, and I want to know. I don't normally ask people what they like to. I don't normally ask people, are they coming? I let it go. Once the event happens, then I ask people for, I guess, the negatives, because the negatives are what I can take back and be like, guys, this is how we improve on the event. Because we all know we did a good job. Like if the event ends and everybody had fun, that's it. Like I don't, no offense to my guys, but we don't need to all sit there and pat each other on the backs. Like, we work hard at this, and when it's done, like, we talk about it. It's great, but it's always about we try and find the negatives in what happened. And that's basically been the number one way that we've built up to where we are now. Is I want everybody to tell me, what did I do shittily about this event?
Yeah, we do a closing meeting after each event and we talk for, I don't know, 15 minutes maybe. What went wrong? How do we make it better? What's next? That's kind of a standard talk. Well, oh, we had a 5-minute delay to start, but everything else ran pretty smooth. We had, maybe it was like, oh, we had people using wrong kits, so we had to admin them more, management. Maybe we didn't say something enough to say, hey, we can't use these kits or whatever the case may be. Just having that conversation, talking about event, using your team, I think really helps. Talk with them, figure out what they want to do. People want to do what they want to do, right? It's a stupid saying, but it's so true. Finding out what the squad community wants is really big, and I really like that we're pushing that way, because if we're not making events that people want to actually do, then, well, yeah, what are we doing? So my 2 cents would be, see what people want as an event, see what people want to show up to, because that will be the best use of your time and their time. Oh,
Yeah, that totally makes sense. I think really my team's biggest issue is that it's just communicating that an event is happening, because there will be so many times that we'll do something and people will be like, "Oh, I had no idea this was a thing." Even if like Sachs posted about it in newsroom and then went and told everybody to check the newsroom and every channel and all that stuff, people still didn't know about the events. Do you guys ever run into situations like that where people just like, "Oh, that sounded fun, but I didn't know it was happening"?
Yeah, we have had that in the past. Definitely one of our things has been advertising back in the past. Um, I don't even remember when that turned about. I had spoken to some people, but I ended up getting privileges to post in the official squad community Discord as well as the squad community hub. So when I go to ping for my events, we build everything very specifically. So the first thing that we do with an event is I want people to ensure that they give me what the event is going to be, kind of the storyline of the event or a rough briefing of it, um, when they're going to have it, and essentially like kind of what roles that they're. Now, when they give me those four, I take those, I build it into an advertisement, and I post it into our newsroom, squad, public. So I focus a lot on the advertisements. I guess that it's the biggest part that we start with, because we can't have an event if nobody knows about
yeah, and to add to that, we've done some videos in the past, like we talked about, and hopefully show you some. But those videos really, it's one thing to say, hey, we're doing this, we're going here, we're fighting these people, right? But throwing in a video that just has some good scenes in it and some good, it just it dictates the story better. And I think people will see the video and watch the video, and sometimes they'll skim over that newsroom post or that squad post, and, oh, there's an event, okay, it's this day, okay, maybe. But if they see the video and they're like, ooh, we'll click on video and then watch the video, then they get a much more in-depth version of it. um, so I mean, utilizing the marketing team, I think, does help. But without the marketing team, I think we still, get the advertisement out to people so that they can see it, and it should be good
when
to join.
when you go to do a massive like at everyone, in a channel with a ton of people, it usually gives you a little warning. It's like, or warning. It's like, whoa, hold up. Are you sure you want to ping this many people? Now, one of the things that I like to brag about, I guess, to my events team is when I send out the advertisements every single time. It's like, boom, 30,000 people. And it blows my mind every time that the number changes. Sometimes it'll say 20,000 plus, other times it'll say 30,000 plus. Because when I get to go into that squad community Discord and do that at everyone, it definitely boosts it. And one of the things that I really had to do was focus on creating events that the public could come into. And that alone has brought in quite a few new Fear and Terror members as well along with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's another thing that that your events team has benefited from is definitely the squad community as a whole, and not just the Fair and Terror community and like the other clans that are close to us. But actually inviting just public players that aren't affiliated with a clan or aren't a part of a certain group, like letting them join in.
I think that's a big part. I mean, you've got a community, utilize them. You know, everyone wants to play a fun tactical event. Maybe not everyone can get in as as deep as say an Arma, special tactical event. Everything 100% milsim. Sometimes you want to get in and just play something cohesive, right? It's a planned event, and I think that's good. And it's always fun to see other clans and stuff show up. We've had Bella's, a big chunk of their comp team show up to an event before. They said that it was a lot of fun. We've had all sorts of different groups come through, and I think it was it's good to see that other squad communities want to join our events too. Just have some fun and do some tactical practice. Whatever it may be. But yeah, utilizing that community is really a big boost to our event team.
Absolutely. I love Fear and Terror, and I love the people in Fear and Terror. And so that's why I do everything that I can, I guess, to expand that family, so to speak. I like to bring people in, and even if they're not part of Fear and Terror, I still want them to be part of the events, join in our Discord, have a chat. I even have right now one of our squad events members is actually part of SQD. He's the only person that I've allowed really outside of FAT to be in the squad events team, but he's got quite a bit to offer us. So he sits around as a clan rep, and we work with him hand in hand in creating events. So that's another thing that I've tried to reach out and doing as well. And
Yeah, that probably does help, like especially like getting SQD guys in and letting then if they have friends getting them in. So I feel like that it's definitely beneficial to have somebody like that. Was he originally? I'm assuming he was originally part of FAT and then left for one reason or another.
well, what had happened with Morty was he joined Fear and Terror just to be part of the squad events team. Um, because he wanted to work a little bit with the small end modding and getting an events team and basically putting the events together the way that we put them together. And so he hung around for a bit and he kind of missed SQD. He's like, yo, like I really wanted to be with you guys so that I could be in the events team. He's like, I kind of really want to be in SQD. So I told him, I was like, you know what? It's like, don't sweat it. I'll keep you around in the events team. Uh, I'll make sure that he always has something to do. And one of my big things is every event that I have, I put up a sign up of roles. And instead of telling each person in the events team what they're going to be doing, everybody signs up for the roles that they would like to do for the event. So we have one commander on each team, and they are just there to ensure that if the squad leaders don't know what to do, they can ask the commander. And then we have a floating admin that watches everything. and he's usually paired with some other guy who's also monitoring the Discord channels, just so that we can catch anybody who joins in late, give them the rundown, move them over into the Discord channel. So we do a lot of basically giving people the choice of how they want their events, what they want to do with them. And I guess that's a lot of the success there, is just giving people the choice.
Yeah, that's a really good way of doing it, because I know that there's been times with whatever in life that it's been like, hey, you're gonna do this specific job, too bad, and then it's not something you wanted to do, and other people have shit they didn't want to do, and instead of letting them switch, they're like, nope, this is the way you're gonna do it, and then it just it definitely hurts more than it helps.
Right? It's like that meme where you're standing around, it's like, wait, you guys are getting paid?
Yep.
Yep.
Said, no, we all volunteer to be here. Let's not make it miserable. And like the micro that you guys are know, I guess, on voice chat when you play the game with me, I'll admit is a completely different micro from if you read the squad events chat. And like, I'm not going to be claimed to be like an iron fist or like a major asshole or anything, but I am fairly strict on activity. Like, I need to make sure that people are active. I'm always putting out activity checks. If you haven't responded or reacted to something that I've put there, I will be directly messaging you and be like, yo, why haven't you messaged? It's not really to be on people's asses, but there'd be no way that we could have these events if the people in the team weren't working at them. So I kind of, I lead with a bit of an iron fist, I guess.
You know that the saying, there's a stick up his ass? Micro's the stick.
Yeah.
We're the ass.
Oh, you
But no,
got
he
that
does
right,
make sure.
Floppy, with "You're the ass."
Definitely. Oh, no. No, we do try to make sure, people are active and talking. The worst thing to do is just, it's a week before an event and people just aren't available. But, it happens. Some people have things planned and whatnot, but just that communication is critical with the team, right? You got to be able to know where we're at, what testing we got to do, right? That could always take, so much longer than you think it would. Go into a layer and just check things out, like flying around a map. It's not fun. It takes a long time, and you just got to find a good spot. So
It's so true. It's boring. Hey guys, we're doing this map. You need to go in and check the hitboxes in this area because it's a modded map. Okay.
yeah. Oh, they got something here. All right, well, we're blowing that up to start the match. Is this some random thing where it's like, why is this? But we get that out of the way to start with in our planning, so hopefully it doesn't come back to, bite us. You don't want some random person finding a bike around the corner and just going off and doing their own thing. So
Yep. So, I see we've sort of looped back to modding, which I think is a great place to bring us to the last question, which is pertaining to the Black Hawk Down event that you guys have been planning for probably about 6 months.
Yeah, it's been a long time. All of the events that we've planned with the mods, these mods were originally created for the Black Hawk Down event. Operation Blackout was our original test to see the balancing on the mod, and it was so successful that we ran it a second time, and it's still only a test to see what's to come. We're working as hard as we can to ensure that we have realism in there. With it being a Black Hawk Down event, we're trying to make it as close as we can to it being the actual Black Hawk Down scenario. And we want people basically sweating it out, trying to it's gonna be a difficult event for them, and we're hoping to make it really fun, but it's taken so much planning, and we don't want it to be botched at all. So I've had to cancel the event on 3 or 4 separate occasions now because something will go wrong at the last second, and it's like, no, we can't release it unless it is 100% complete. And so we're still kind of put.
Micro. Did
He
Micro
might
just?
be having. Oh, he had internet
Oh
problems.
no!
The ultimate tease.
Yeah, right. Ah, now
Oh,
he's
there he
back.
is. Okay.
Micro.
It kicked me out.
Oh no.
All right. Did I at least finish a sentence?
No.
No, you were right
Ah,
on the edge of
Halfway
our
through sentence.
seats.
oh no. Okay. Which seat were you at? Where was I?
You said that you had canceled it 3 or 4 times already, and like one sentence
Oh,
after that, and then
oh my God, I was talking for a while after it kicked me out. Jesus. Okay. So, um, we've had to cancel it on about 3 or 4 separate occasions now, just because of the fact that we will not release this event till it's 100% complete. The moment we've had something come up, like we had the event, we're about to release it, and it's been like, yo, this went wrong, and we've canceled it. It has caused arguments in management. It's caused arguments in teams. Like we want this event to be pristine.
oh yeah, definitely. Especially with the hype surrounding it, because I know there's a lot of people in the community that know the event's coming and have heard about it and are excited for it. And it's sort of like Cyberpunk in that way, where you got to delay it until it's perfect, except don't do what Cyberpunk did, because oh boy, it's far from perfect.
So one of the funny ones was we were going to run it, and then a big update in Squad happened where the rally system messed
Oh
up,
yeah.
and it messed with the mod, and the mod wasn't then ready, or it kept happening where, oh, there's a patch or this or something changed. Well, now we need to incorporate this, so it's a little back and forth, right? And yeah, we gotta sit down, go through it, make sure it's running right, and away we go. So, we're hoping 2021 is going to be a good year, full of a lot of good events, and I think this is going to be one of those that you don't want to miss because it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's gonna be soon. I can tell you that it's going to be soon because all the
Soon,
plans are
TM.
there. We're
Yes.
just waiting. And like to be honest with you,
Hashtag
like it's
3
all
more
about
weeks.
timing. Yeah,
Hashtag
because
3 more weeks.
right,
No.
nobody's gonna show up around Christmas, to be honest. Nobody's gonna show up when Cyberpunk is released. Like how many of our members right now are missing from Discord completely? So there's a lot that I'm considering right now that doesn't even pertain to the event itself, I guess. It's more or less waiting for the right time where I can release it and people can actually show up.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping that it's still during COVID times while everyone's at home, because that will also increase our events.
Now, actually, that just made me think of another question real quick. Because on my team, the just regular events team, we thought that COVID was going to be a big break and be like, oh, people start showing up, but it actually dipped our numbers. Less people started showing up. Did you guys see that same thing, or did you see the reverse trend where more people started showing up because of COVID?
I think it was
Um,
both.
yeah, it was. We essentially cycled population. Like
Yeah.
our old events team died. Like me, Floppy, and Empty Head recently returned. But there's a lot of newer people in our events team. And then there's also a lot of players that attend our events now that never attended it before. So yeah, it kind of just we lost all our old people and gained some new people, and
Well, I
it's
was talking
weird.
about turnout, not on the actual team. I was talking about
Same.
people turn.
No,
Yeah.
like the turnout as well. Like it's like from before we had specific clans that would show up. Like for like we'd have Bellas and or Babes and a whole bunch of these players show up, and now I see a lot of these people show up for our events now that I haven't noticed before, but I also notice a lot of the players who used to come to my event are gone too. So
Mhm.
that's what I mean is it's kind of like revolved where it hasn't affected our outcome too much, but it seems like it kind of swapped the population. It took all the people from before and they're gone, but now there's all these new people that attend.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That's exactly what I've seen. People just it's a lot of new faces, but it's also about the same numbers. So it's really, really odd to see, what the rest of, the hopeful pandemic will taper off and things go back to normal, right? But until then, we'll see what the numbers do, and keep putting out events people want to go to, and hopefully keep some numbers up.
Yeah. What even is normal anymore?
Um, there's one more thing. We've been working on that Black Hawk Down for a while. There are other ones that are in our bag of tricks that hopefully will be coming out soon. I don't want to give anything away, but equally as big, and with some assistance of other people. So I'm hoping that next year is going to be a really good one. I think we got some really good ones planned, and just filling it up and executing. So,
Oh, come on. You can tell me. We can cut it in post.
I mean, this is micro. This is micro's domain. I'm
Nah,
not
I'm
saying
just kidding.
anything.
I'm just kidding. It was a joke. Hey, we can
Okay,
cut it.
wait.
Guys, don't cut
You know
it.
what? Okay, how about this? I will let you guys know tomorrow if you can cut this or not. But I was recently, I'm sure everybody's heard of the Star Wars Galactic contention mod for Squad.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it used to be a big thing, but then when all the mods happened and the mods just weren't working for the conversions. Well, just the other day, I was contacted by the creators of the Galactic Contention mod, and they have been asking me to get my events team to do the final testing with them. And we're going to be doing a massive, massive collaborative event between the creators of the Galactic Contention mod and Fritz and us.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, that sounds like a blast because I've played that mod. It's a really fucking fun mod.
That's not even the one I was talking about. Too fun.
Are you
Oh.
thinking about Thunder Run, or is there
Yeah,
another one?
Thunder Run.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can tell them about Thunder Run.
Oh, okay. I wasn't
Thunder
sure.
Run.
The video's not out. That's why. So we have a video for it too.
Yeah,
Do
this
you ever
this
play?
podcast is getting released, I believe, like this Friday.
Okay.
So I don't know if you're okay with.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
You're fine. All right. Okay,
Okay.
go.
This one is one that Jet worked with Moydog on. Um,
Oh,
do you ever play Battlefield 3?
hard no.
Hard no? Oh, there's
Hard
a
no.
very popular event in that game where you're in a tank and there's a huge tank battle that eventually goes to the streets, and you continue to push down. That's hence why we called it Thunder Run after the game building off that. It's similar, not exactly the same, but man, I'm I'm excited for it. You've got You've got two factions with tanks. You've got this huge battle going on. It then takes to the streets and progresses, right? And then finally, you got to take a compound. Oh, it's gonna be great. Um, yeah, we're just kind of the whole modding scene with Jet has kind of backed off a little bit. So we're still, I guess, technically in development, but it's yeah, it looks amazing. It should be a lot of fun too.
Yeah, a lot of it is there. Even the map itself is custom made, so a lot
Custom
of it
made.
is there. It's just
Oh, I think I play tested that map a little bit.
With
I
the
yeah,
had
where
tanks
like
and
you
the
start
Fear and
off
Terror
tanks
logos on them.
versus tank.
Yeah, and then there's that huge long highway and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
With a bunch of
Yeah,
cars. Yeah, I was fucking around with that with Jet one day, and we had a blast just flipping techies because we found a really bad physics spot, and we could just bounce techies off of it. It was great.
So yeah,
yes.
that's another one in our bag of tricks. And
2021 is going to be a great year, and we're going to start it off. Coming up in February is going to be my 1 year with Fear and Terror, so I'm going to be having a big event released around then.
1
oh,
year.
you get it for your 1 year. I'm
1
over here
year?
with a year, almost 2. Oh no, just kidding.
Almost 2 week.
Week. Yeah, I know.
I hit 2 back in August.
Yeah, I don't remember. It was a year and a half in like early summer. Or I think it was still late spring.
August
this should be
28th,
coming up.
baby. I don't know why I know that date, but I do. August
I think mine's
28th.
February. That sounds about right. Anyways, who cares?
I'll never forget that I ended up getting squad just before my birthday. And then I was playing squad for a good like 8 hours. And I was like, man, this game is great. But man, people are stupid. So I went down to Discord and I started searching for squad communities. And then I found Fear and Terror. I played with you guys for a bit. I can't remember who it was, but somebody told me to apply. And then about 2 months later, I became the manager of the squad events team.
Boom! Big
I'm
reveal.
pretty sure, Micro, I remember when you joined because I think I did your tryout for the comp team, eh?
You did. Yeah.
And I
Yes.
shat on you in the fucking training course.
Yeah, you did. I think I almost failed.
Yeah,
I think I
that's
almost
cool.
failed too. So,
Anywho, we're getting sidetracked.
yeah,
You can cut that part if you want.
yeah, please. No. But yeah, I think there's going to be some good ones coming out. Like I said, a lot of polishing, but plus everyone else is going to have their own event, and yeah.
All right, well, that seems like a pretty good place to wrap it up. Thank you guys both for your time and the insight into the inner workings of the team that not a lot of people know about. A lot of people just think, oh, event, they must just like, oh, let's do this and set it up on the spot. And I don't think people realize just how much work goes into everything, even like the videos, even though that's not strictly you guys. Uh, they still don't realize just how much work goes into everything to set up for a squad event.
Yeah,
So,
it's
oh,
an eye
sorry.
opener.
Oh, definitely. Even for me, even though I'm part of an events team, it was still an eye opener for me because you guys do things a lot different than my team. So,
Yep.
but yeah,
Yeah.
thank you two for your time. Thank you all for watching. This was episode 17 of the Fear and Terror podcast.
Peace out, boy.